Okay, the next item on the agenda is superintendent's recommendations and reports. Mr. Smith?
Yes, at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Martin to cover the items listed under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Birding, and members of the board. I have several items for you this evening under Personnel Professional. Item 1, resignation, letter A. This is actually our first retirement for the end of the school year. So, item 2, extracurricular resignation for 21-22. Item 3, employment, letter A, extracurriculars for the 21-22 school year. Item B, a building test coordinator assistant. Item C, credit recovery and/or credit flexibility instructors for 21-22. D, EL tutors for 21-22. E is a reading tutor. It's a Title I for one of our non-publics, St. Anne's, for the 21-22 school year. Item F, academic supports tutors. G, home instructors. H, substitute teachers. And I, substitute nurses. That concludes the items I have for your consideration under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept those recommendations.
So moved. Second.
I heard Mrs. Gundrum and Mr. Begley. Any questions or comments? Okay, Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes, motion passes.
This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Perry to cover the items listed under Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Members of the board, I have the following items for your consideration. B, personnel support. Number 1, resignations A through F. Number 2, unpaid leave of absence A. And number 3, employment A through I.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Perry. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept those recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Begley and Mrs. Shorter, any questions or comments from the board? Hey, Mrs. Lane, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mrs. Shorter?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes, motion passes.